Hello, my name is Ken Rigby, and today I would like to share with you my story of experiencing polio. I came along in 1941, just 4 months before the start of World War II. I lived in Scotia my entire childhood. Scotia was a great place to grow up. The most important issue that influenced my life as a kid, and for the rest of my life, right up to this very day, was contracting polio in 1952, just a month or so before my 11th birthday. It all started about July 1st, as I just felt weak and listless at first. I remember going on an extended family picnic to Shoulder Cove on the 4th of July. It was then I ran full speed on the beach as the waves chased me on the sand for the last time. As each day went by, I started to have more and more difficulty swallowing, and my energy level kept getting worse. The doctor said I had a severe sinus infection. I was a skinny kid, and now I could not eat anything or take in liquid. I was losing weight that I could ill afford to lose. I'm unsure when I lost my ability to walk because I no longer got out of bed. I never went to the bathroom anymore as I had no liquid or food intake. By July 17, the doctor said he thought I might have polio. So my dad picked me up and carried me to the car. It was like picking up a 2x12, he said, because I was so stiff and rigid. He drove me down to the Scotia Hospital for a spinal tap. Sure enough, it was polio. Next was an ambulance ride to the county hospital in Eureka, where I would stay until September 23rd. I was put into an isolation ward because polio was said to be contagious. The first thing they did was to start IV infusions. I was totally dehydrated. For days, I laid in bed watching the IV drip into me. I received 3 IVs daily, and each bottle took 3 hours to drip out. So, day after day, all I did was watch those IVs drip. Probably the most important issue I had to deal with was not to develop a mindset of giving up. Mentally, I knew I could not relax. I had to stay tense in order to stay alive, or so I thought. Physical therapy was the next stage of my recovery from this polio. At this point, it was not known how much recovery from paralysis I would have, but the PT would help bring me back as far as possible. By now, it had been determined that my right leg had suffered severe damage, especially in the lower extremity. My muscle that holds up my foot so I can walk heel-toe was completely dead. Every day, I also had to endure hot tub soakings to keep my leg muscles from shrinking. It was hot, 104 degrees, if I remember correctly. I was red as a lobster when I got out of that little tub. Finally, I was measured up for my leg brace. When it came, they got me into it. It had a wraparound leather sheath to keep it in the correct place. It had metal supports down to my shoe, hinged to metal pieces that had been placed in my shoe at the heel area. I used 2 metal crutches for support while walking. I wore this contraption for nearly a year before I graduated to just a knee-length brace. This was a huge improvement. And with the new leg brace and a certain degree of muscle recovery, I was now able to participate in sporting activities. I tried to play basketball in my sophomore year, but did not make the school team. I just could not run fast enough. I tried out for the baseball team and made the team. I was very pleased. My junior and senior years saw me to get to play enough to earn my athletic letter. That meant so much to me, as now I felt I beat polio. When I reached the age of 50, I noticed that my walking was getting more difficult. My doctor said I was impacted by PPS, which stands for post-polio syndrome. The original paralysis was going to start coming back on me. This has been a very slow process, but very steady. By the time I was 60, I could no longer function at my job and had to take early retirement. 20 years later, I now wear a brace on my leg again. My ability to swallow is getting more difficult. Still, another issue I must deal with is my inability to breathe under heavy exertion. This has caused my polio damage to my chest diaphragm. This causes me to have a more severe chance of getting pneumonia, which I have had 3 times. What does the future look like? If I live long enough, I am going to be in a wheelchair to get around, as I am now at the end of my time getting around unaided without some type of assistant device. Finally, I want to end this story by saying how fortunate I have been to live for 82 years. I am grateful for all the medical help that's been available to me for over 70 years. So many polio victims died here in Humboldt County before the Salk vaccine finally came to be and ended this scourge. Do not give up. Never, ever give up.